Greetings, everybody, and welcome to episode 21 of the Sitcast, aka the Siblings and Cardboard podcast. I'm your host, Noah, joined by my buddy slash co-host, Thomas and Donnie. Whether you're a veteran card gamer or a first timer just testing the waters, we are all siblings in cardboard. Guys, how have things been since the last time we talked?
It's it's been going, man. It's another day in paradise, and all that other good jazz.
I'm at the end of a very long vacation myself.
Yeah, but not
vacation or like actual vacation or COVID vacation.
It was a COVID vacation.
You're still recovering, right?
Yeah, yeah. I still have like a little bit of fatigue, but we're mostly good.
That's good. It's always fun to be unwell in any way. I mean, it's just an inconvenience, stuffiness,
Yeah.
headache. But it drags. You got things you want to do, and it's like a constant like nagging. It's not fun.
Yeah.
What about flesh and blood wise?
Flesh and blood wise, I did go to Armory on Friday. I think me and Donnie finally got to play a game. We were technically the finals.
Yeah. I honestly cannot remember the last time we played a game at an Armory. It's been literal months, I want
Yeah.
to say, since the last time we sat down across from each other at an Armory.
The gem pairings just keep dodging us.
But yeah, I did not get the cold foil for those out there listening. I got absolutely cracked by Levia in round 3 of that Armory. It was just an embarrassing game. It was just an embarrassing game.
Dude,
I missed 2 points of value, and sometimes that's all it takes, right?
Yeah, and when Levia rolls, she rolls because she keeps just pumping out those like block 2s, swing 12, and then she's always got Husk and Scowling Fleshbag just sitting there waiting. And I can't wait to talk about the spoiler because man, her fridge just got so much better. So much better.
There were so many good spoilers today. So many good spoilers today. And man, this whole set is looking so hype already. I mean, everything from the expansion slot looked great, and everything leading up to this looked great. And we've got several legendaries to talk about. Oh boy.
I was a little bit disappointed with Balance of Justice, and we'll talk about it. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I should taper my expectations. Things won't be as good as Crown of Providence. And then I saw those Brute Gloves, and I'm like, things can totally be as good as Crown of Providence. Like, whoo, man.
I had a feeling
Mansant did not lie when he told me that there were things that would compete with Gambler's Gloves.
Let's see. As far as Flesh and Blood goes, what did I do Tuesday? I know I went to the Armory on Tuesday. Can't remember how I did. The Friday before I went, I did finally win a Banksy, so that was great. But this past Friday, obviously, I got rolled in the finals.
Who were you
Outside
playing?
of that, just I've been playing the Armory that I won. I played Katsu, and then I've been playing Uzuri ever since because I've been trying to update my Katsu deck to TCG Talks list, and I just keep leaving stuff at home. So I just keep, oh well, I guess I'll play Uzuri. Oh well, I guess I'll play Uzuri.
What's the difference?
Yeah,
is this the one with the leg tap line?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, the leg tap and rising knee thrust. It offers different choices to the opponent, and it actually looks like a really fun list, and I'm really eager to try it out. I just keep forgetting the stuff. I keep leaving it at home. But I've got everything. I've already changed the deck over at my kitchen table. All I've got to do is port over my CNCs and my E-Strikes from Uzuri, and I'm good to play Katsu tomorrow. Because recording on Monday, tomorrow night is Tuesday Armory. So I should be playing Katsu tomorrow, but we'll see. Maybe I'll talk myself into Uzuri again. I'm really enjoying that hero too.
So it was Uzuri versus Levia then when you guys played?
Yes. And I say it was a high roll, but honestly, we were both in the single digits, so it wasn't a complete blowout. But Thomas was in complete control of that game the whole time. It is what it is.
The first game of that evening for me was the one where like I felt it could have gone either way. I was against an Azalea, and there was a time where he came one resource short of just punishing me with a Codex of Frailty to a sleep dart, which is like the fear of Levia, right?
Yeah.
To get your blood debt like turned on for the whole turn, nothing you could do about it. I did get to do some cute stuff. He hit me with a sleep dart, and then I got to go hard and heavy on him, banish a bunch of cards, and then use that to flip on purpose. but then he
That's
like,
smart.
yeah. And honestly, that and a Tear Limb from Limb that doubled a 7 power card to 14 was like the main reasons I was able to stay in the game. But it came down to like 1 or 2 points of value for that Azalea matchup. That's such a scary and hard matchup. Anyone who runs Sleep Dart, just stay away. I need my hero power so bad.
Hey, I was gonna say it's really like Sleep Dart's a good card, but man, especially against Leviah. I mean, because like you said, you're just at the mercy. You don't get to turn it off.
Yeah, her hero
Which-
power is so vanilla, just turns off
Yeah.
blood debt. But man, you rack up huge amounts of blood debt.
Oh yeah.
Yep. What about you, Noah?
I
You
was
done
out of
anything in Flesh and
town.
Blood?
No, I was actually doing stuff with so I speedrun Luigi's Mansion, which is another one of the crazy things that I do on my pastime. So I was actually hanging out with some Luigi's Mansion runners. One of them came down from New York, so we were hanging out. I was out of town this weekend, so that's why I wasn't at Armory on Friday.
I was wondering about that.
And I didn't get back till Sunday late. So, but it was a fun weekend. Played some Luigi's Mansion, had a good time.
Awesome.
Typical stuff.
Never played that game, so
It's a fun game.
Any of your buddies at Awesome Games Done Quick, which is going on right now?
No. Yeah, Awesome Games Done Quick is going on right now. LM didn't get in. I don't think any of the LMs got in. I don't know if they actually submitted for it. Usually we talk about it. They usually do the SGDQ, not usually the AGDQ.
Okay.
So I assume somebody is going to submit to the Summer Games Done Quick when it rolls around. But it's always fun. Flesh and Blood wise, no. Just been sorting through mail and trying to deal with the influx of cards. And then try and see where the market's going to go.
Where is the market going?
Nowhere right now, really. I mean, spoilers probably toss some things up. I think I saw Brute cards on the rise, but I don't want to go back into it just yet because I want to, like, I saw Beast Within go back up to 11 and, like, Berserk is starting, you know, like, I saw some things starting to move, but not enough to where I really felt it was justified to go back through and try and nitpick at some of the cards. So I chose today in a different way. Just wanted to touch on what I would consider the biggest staples in Flesh and Blood. Most of these are generics. I think actually all of them are generics. And this is more of like an entry cost market minute where, you know, hey, I want to get in and I want like these staple cards that go in all these decks and I just want to have them. How much is it? Kind of a thing. And so I wanted to touch on that. Spoiler season, new set, always interests new players, especially these centralized sets where it seems like the theme is like, you know, Bright Lights was mech, get you in there, get you going. I actually think some of these heroes will probably translate better into the classic constructed meta than maybe the Bright Lights heroes originally were slated to. Somebody added this for, well, considering one of them's a reprint in Reinhardt. But KO just looks absolutely nuts. Look pretty poised to be prominent in
Out of
the CC
six,
meta.
There's 6 heroes.
Yes.
5 if you don't want to include Reinhardt.
Well, I think there's a bigger stake for newer players, and then one of these 6 heroes, if not more than one of these 6 heroes, is going to have direct translation into CC. So I feel like you're going to get in, and you're going to feel rewarded for getting in.
This has been billed as a great set for new players, so this is definitely a great starting point.
I think Bright Lights was like the testing ground when they tried to like make that set, right? And it was good. Maybe just the hero design fell slightly short of something that could instantly come in and impact it slightly. Although when Teklo has a stay, it's going to be
Dash.io had an impact on the meta, and we've seen Max do fine.
That is true. Yeah. I really shouldn't take away from them. They both topped events. I mean, the 14-0 run, and Max has been in the top 8 in multiple tournaments. So they are viable. I mean, I think anything's really viable now that Ice is gone and Fatigue is kind of on the down low. But I think this is another great set. And I think it's a little more open, so not so specialized in a mech. So I think just in that retrospect, it's going to be, or that regard, it's going to be a better new person set. So I wanted to talk about new player type cards you come in and say, I'm new, I need to buy these. What are they? And so let's start with everybody's favorite, which I just want to touch on Final Spring Tunic. In any of the cheapest variants, you can get it from Crucible, which is a non-foil black border version. It is $65. You can get it in white border or from the expansion slot of Bright Lights. All of them are roughly the same price, $65 to $70. You're not gaining any value either
I think that's
way.
just been where it's
What?
been since Bright Lights came out.
Last I heard, it was still in the 90s.
No, it was up there. Remember, for a while they were 70, 80, 90. They've steadily dropped. So right
Wow,
now,
heck yeah.
they are 65. And
Awesome.
so that's an any variant.
I know
of
when
those three.
The two that I got like back to back, I traded them for $70 worth of value for both of them.
Yeah, which is right, pretty much right out still where they are. I think right now, if you haggle to somebody, 60 to 65 is totally reasonable, which isn't that bad. I mean, this is a staple piece that's going to go in pretty much every deck, because usually every deck has a weird way of wanting to run Tunic into some matchups. So just a staple card.
Yeah, great card.
Let's go to Crown of Providence. You can only get this in either foil, cold foil, or non-foil from the Dusk Till Dawn. And it's sitting at 88, 83 right now low, which is the non-foil.
Okay.
Yeah, the foil versions are still a little up there. Obviously, the cold foil still got some value because anything max rarity right now, well, I mean, gold foil, but that's beside the point. Anything that's technically high rarity will have a little bit more value. But I think $83 for one of the most unique headpieces in the game, and pretty much probably one of the best headpieces ever created. There's not a deck that wouldn't consider it unless you're running some class specific headpiece, which we'll talk about, because there are some headpieces I think that are, I think they're pretty good. But Crown of Providence is a very good card. $80, really not that bad. So those are like your two static armor pieces that you're going to swap throughout the entirety of the Flesh and Blood world. You know, your crown, you hear it all the time, and your tunic, and those are like your two bread and butter cards. And so you can get them both right now for $140. Like if you bought them both right now, really not that bad. It's not $140 for one deck; it's $140 for all decks. So it feels pretty good.
Yep.
We're going to move on to Command and Conquer, which is everybody's favorite high profile power card. For those who don't know, this is pretty much one of the most bread and butter generic action cards that you'll find just splash into any deck. In fact, most deck building like starts with 3 CNCs, 3 Sync Belows, which we're going to talk about. You know, like it's like things that people build around. Like, this is the base, I have to have this.
It's the baseline of what an attack should do.
Yeah. The value of it's great. It's the 2 for 6. The effect is amazing. What it does is amazing. It's so multifaceted in what it does, and it blocks for 3, which is just the icing on the cake. Because if it blocked for anything less than 3, I'd actually be upset about it.
And then the synergy with Tunic and Pummel.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Really good stuff. It comes in just at the perfect curve, like they knew what they were doing with that combination.
And it only gets better with might tokens. Anytime you can leak just even when I make courage tokens sometimes in Dory and I send one in for 7, it's really fun, because 7 is just such a different breakpoint than 6. Command and Conquer for 7 isn't so gnarly.
Yeah, that's not where you want to be. You don't want to be looking at CNC for 7, because CNC for 7 usually means that Arsenal card's gone 9 out of 10 times.
Yep.
You're not.
So now you need your Crown of Providence. It all loops back around.
It all loops back around. Crown of Providence is your counter to Command and Conquer. It's why the card is so good. But we're going to talk about that other headpiece, because I think the headpiece is fantastic in its own right. And we'll get there. I really do like the new headpiece.
I've got words for it.
Keyword. So it's $75 right now. $75-$80. That's for your black borders. White borders I think are at $75 right now. So if you don't mind the white border, you could probably get some foreign ones even cheaper as well. They come out of the history packs in the foreign set, so you'll see them in German, French, I think Italian as well, and Spanish. I think are the four languages, and so they usually come down a little cheaper, just due to not necessarily be printed in English, but Command and Conquer has technically gotten more affordable. There are just more out in the pool. There's more out in the open. So you're looking at $60-$65 anywhere from those. And then if you did want the Arcane Rising, the original black borders, you're paying $80 a card, which that's where your big portion of your investment is going to be, those 3 cards. But you got to understand, those 3 cards will always be good, never not be good, and they're good in every single deck. There isn't a there isn't a point where you look at that card and you go, well, that's just not good anymore. I mean, if we get to that point, I don't like, wow, LSS must have been printing straight fire. But right now, in the way that they're trending, which is in the opposite direction of lower sort of power, more just dynamic cards, CNC just is going to remain at the top of these staple choices.
I don't think we'll ever see a generic as potent as Command and Conquer.
Yeah, not with that type of debility. Like there are other effects that have
it'll have a block 2 on it if it's ever printed
right.
again.
But nothing that hits the arsenal that you can't play like that. There are some debilitating things that CNC do that you just probably won't ever see again. And I actually feel they'll dampen CNC later on with more ambush cards, so you'll just get less good usage out of it. You'll go CNC, and your buddy will go, "I'll ambush from Arsenal," and that will probably bring the playability slightly down.
You've seen they've tried to reduce the amount of defense reactions that they print as well for similar reasons.
Yeah, no, I think that LSS has actually got a good grasp. They go, oof, defense reaction, that's a powerful word. Block 0 for 4, but it's got to be in block. I see what you're doing, LSS. I like it. The ambush is going to help fix that CNC problem too. And I know they got some good play testing going on. They're smart. They're smarter. They're smarter than a lot of people give them credit for. I'll tell you that much. I think they're doing a great job. So we're going to talk two more very solid generics, probably not as intricate. 3 more technically. One's a D-React. This one's Art of War, though. We're going to talk about Art of War. Goes in a lot of decks, and we're talking $30 a card right now. And that's your black borders. And then if you wanted to do your Art of War white borders, it's about $30 as well, $30-$25. So you're looking $75 for a playset of Art of Wars. They are a bread and butter card in a lot of aggressive decks that use attack actions. Your ninjas, your what else? So your Levias, your brutes. I mean, like pretty much if you're playing attack actions, and it's just adds another layer. It's a really good card. Staple. It's if you said, hey, I'm getting into this game, I need to know the big power cards I should pick up. That's one of the cards I recommend. Get yourself a playset of Art of Wars. Don't just not have them. You're not going to use them in every deck.
You won't use it in every deck.
Yeah, you won't use it in every deck. And Art of War is a bit of a noob trap too.
Yeah,
the card is much harder to use than it reads on paper.
Like you would think it'd be good in Vincent, but it's not good in Vincent like at all.
That's why I actually think you should pick it up if you're a new player.
It's so interesting because I would fall into that trap. If it's not good in Vincent, I know I'd at least play test it, because being able to banish a card on demand and give it go again seems okay.
Yeah, but then how do you play that card? That's the issue.
Well, you just pick one of the cards and say you can play it from banish.
And if you don't have Rune Chance, and you've just
then you're not
playing at the start of your turn anyway. That's why it's not good. It's a trap. It's definitely a trap.
Yeah, that one cost is steep.
The one cost is actually, I think, even I don't factor it in all the time exactly how I'm going to pay that one cost. But honestly, I think that's why I like the card. I think it's a good card to play around with, and I think it is a good card to be trapped with. Trap yourself with it. Learn from it early. I'm serious. Like, I think it's a great learning thing. That's why I think you should pick it up. Pick it up, play with it. Know why people think that card is good. Play with it, try and figure it out, but also know that it has pitfalls. I think it's a great way. It's like a learning through experience type thing. Another card that I'm going to share is on the same level, and it's Enlightened Strike. I think Enlightened Strike is considered a generic staple that would be played in a lot of decks for its flexibility, for its 0 cost, for its block 3, and for its 3 different effects that at any point in the game you could choose one and you have a real reason for choosing it. And there's all sorts of different contexts where you'd want one over the other. So 2-card hand, I might send it for 7. Got a way to give it go again, I might send it for a draw card and snap it. Tons of different playability with it. I think it's a staple card, and it's sitting right now. It gets the same treatment, black border and or non, at $30 for the black borders and at $25 for the white borders. So it's right on that same Art of War cusp.
This is a card I've been putting off buying, but it might be a staple of KO because it's technically a 6 in KO.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's any way you don't.
If you're gonna play KO, you need E-strikes.
Sure. You want to get your E-strikes. I think they're a great card. You definitely don't want to wait for them to go up if they get hit with popularity spike, but I actually don't think this is a card that's could ever go up that. I don't want to say that.
I mean, it's been around since WTR. People have figured it out.
I think people have play sets that have it in play. It's event. It shouldn't spike anything too crazy. But I did tally. Oh,
I think it is. I think it is Welcome to Wraith.
It is Welcome to Wraith. 100%. It's Welcome to Wraith. Last card is just Sink Below. It actually has gone up a little bit. It's a rare. Is it a rare or is it a common? It's a common.
It's a common.
Man, it's a common. For a common, this is actually the most expensive common I've seen in quite a few games.
Like $3.
Not that much. It's $1.75 right now. You'd pay 99 cents for shipping per card, so I put it at $5. You could probably get yourself a playset of white border sinks and or black border sinks for $5. I don't really put it past people going too crazy, but $1.50, $2 a card. It's probably the best card ever created. Probably the best defense reaction I've ever seen. It replaces replaces a dead card in your hand. It blocks 0 for 4. It's a defense reaction. It's nuts.
Its Sink Below is really strong. That's another D-React that came from that said that's really strong as unmovable. And then Fate Foreseen, I'm pretty sure, was in the very next set.
Fate Foreseen and Sink Below. I didn't add Fate Foreseen because it's a little bit more of a niche because it's an opt usage, where Sink Below is just more universally accepted. So I didn't want to get too deep into it, but I would say that Sinks and Fates are literally the two you must have at least a play set of them. They're your staple D reacts that you're gonna just cycle through. Hey, I need to get a little more defensive. Those are usually the two first cards you think about putting in. At least a set of Sinks.
Pro tip for new players: get several play sets.
Absolutely.
Below. Get several play sets.
They disappear too. Like
Oh man!
Don't just get one play set and just swap them around. You will switch them to every deck because I can't think of a single deck that does not play Sink Below. Get a playset for getting multiple playsets. Yeah. Multiple.
The only thing I could think of is Pure Mechanologist. I think everyone else at least considers Sink Below as part of their list.
Yeah, I mean, I consider it. Just sometimes I don't run it because I don't.
Hybrid Dash runs Sink Below, but the other mechanologists don't run it as much. Because I think Max just puts the firewall in, and Dio you don't run. It's the only non-mechanologist cards you run are usually Toma Findle.
Okay. Well, for everything else, there's Sink Below.
There's Sink Below. So that puts us at a total of about $550. And I don't think that that's necessarily. I don't think that's low by any means. I don't think that that's necessarily crazy. If you told me I had to pay $550 and I'd be able to put these cards into pretty much every deck, like. There would be cases where you wouldn't want to, but this isn't $550 dedicated to one deck. It's pretty much dedicated to any deck that ever comes out in Flesh and Blood. Until the cards somehow just completely lose, then the value would go down anyway. It would be cheaper. But and
the value holds on those.
This isn't $550 and then suddenly you buy them and then like they get banned, the set rotates or something happens and you lose them. This is $550. These cards are so stapled at the price that they are that they don't move.
You could flip them if you needed to. Like if you decide you need to exit the game or you were buying more specialized cards, you could probably flip those pretty fast.
Yeah, like any one of them. Say you're not using your Art of War, so you might need to pick up something else. Like that is the same value you paid for them. You'll be able to trade for. If not, probably get a little higher in trade value depending on how you're baseball trading, or if you're doing it for cash value. But the same goes in buying them too. A lot of players will, 550 is not bad. This is a universal 550. And then I had some Magic comparisons and stuff, but I do think that it probably warrants a longer, lengthier discussion. And so I think that's a good topic we can talk to, sort of getting into the game and how it compares to maybe some of the top Magic decks, cost-wise and stuff. And you'd actually be surprised. I mean, I know plenty of cards in Magic, but if you did want to be competitive in top tier in Magic, you're still going to be paying a hefty price.
So everybody out there listening, if that's something that you want to hear, if you want us to have that conversation, because I think all of us played Magic extensively, we could make that comparison. Let us know in the comments. Let us know if that's something that you actually want us to talk about maybe next time.
Yeah, it would be interesting to do. every good card game needs new lifeblood, and I think Flesh and Blood is actually not the hardest thing or the most expensive thing to get into. I just think it has a lot of stigma around it, and
It's weird. It's a weird amount of stigma. Like if you just think about like one series of board games, like where you buy it and all its expansions, like that's like $500 itself. And yeah, you have a completed game, but that game is just that one set. It has a limited amount of playability.
Right. I will say that since Flesh and Blood is tailored to be a very competitive game, that I think I don't know, if I was coming into the game, I would is this something I want to play competitive? Might be the question you have to ask yourself before you make the purchase. But you don't necessarily get to see decks at their competitive level without the insertion of these cards. So I can understand why people might feel slightly reserved, but I'm telling you, it's not like you spend the $550, you turn around and realize you don't like the game and you never get your $550 back. You could pretty much get identical value in any card game. Even if you just want to transfer it to that, you're not going to lose that money. It doesn't just because it's not like a new car you buy and you take it off the lot and it instantly just depreciates in value. Like these cards hold strong because Flesh and Blood is a meta driven game, and these cards are all meta. They're not going anywhere. The price isn't going anywhere. And in fact, they'd only necessarily go up if there was a new influx of players and more had to be bought. So you kind of can create value too in that situation. But that's all I had for the market minute. I thought it was really nice to talk about just new player entry costs, especially with the whole new set. And now we get to talk about a whole bunch of news. The Celebrational.
There's so much news.
Lot of cool
and
stuff.
so many spoilers.
Okay, so let's just like blast really quick through what the Celebrational is and a little bit of drama around it. Okay, so in New Zealand at Legend Story Studios headquarters, they've invited kind of like the big content creators, some of the like bigger tournament winners, people who have close relationships with LSS and all of that, kind of bring them together and say, hey, thank you for supporting our game. And they got a absolutely awesome goodie box.
Oh,
I don't think there's there's no controversy around that. It's a great goodie box. They got a couple packs of alpha sets, like Alpha Welcome to Wraith, Alpha Arcane Rising. They got cool stuff like that. They got some exclusive sleeves, some Kasai and Tunic sleeves. They got a new playmat that shows off some new like key art that we've never seen before for like
maybe a whole new region of Wraith.
A whole new
Boom.
Really cool. And they come in that
the world
sleek
map
black
has expanded.
box. So
we knew it was going to get expanded because Bolton's from the north, like from the uncharted north, and he comes down. So we know there's other world and other land out there. So it is very nice that that's how they chose to kind of say
now
land. It is cool.
This may be where we're going to next. I mean, maybe we don't go completely in a circle around to the different regions that everybody are speculating on the back of the card. Maybe we get pirates in the next set.
So let's set up some backstory though about the drama that's going on there. So one of the things that they're doing there is they're having like this tournament where all these like content creators and stuff, and they all play Flesh and Blood with a grand prize of getting to help design a card. Specifically like an action card, right?
It has to be an action card, but that is the coolest grand prize that I could possibly think of. Just like Professor Teklevossen, if you win that tournament, your face is going to be immortalized on a Flesh and Blood card. You get to help design that card. It's just like the Magic Invitational from back in the day that created Snapcaster Mage and Solemn Simulacrum and Dark Confidant, all of those old, really powerful Magic cards. Those were tournament-defining staples back in the day. I am so excited to see what these people have brought to the table. Man, what is this going to look like?
I wonder who's going to, like, I can't even think who's going to win. There's a lot of really good players there.
There's a lot of really good talent there.
Okay. So
I mean, Brody's in the tournament, so he's automatically a favorite.
It could be Brody. It's a multi-format competition, and this is where the drama comes in, because one of the formats in the competition is called Heavy Hitters Solo. So what Heavy Hitters Solo is, it's classic constructed, I think.
Yes. It is classic constructed deck building rules, but
only using heavy hitters cards. And what does that mean? That means every person there got a full play set of heavy hitters
in their goodie box.
That includes all the unspoiled cards.
Yeah. Yesterday. And there's been a lot of like pushback saying that probably isn't a big deal, but it's clearly not fair when there's like a sealed tournament coming up with heavy hitters.
Okay. I understand why people are thinking that way, but you have to actually think about the logistics of what these tournament competitors in New Zealand are doing right now. They are preparing for this tournament. They have to build that heavy hitter solo deck. Not only that, but they're also trying to go through and, prep their other formats because like you said, it's a multi-format event. It's not just heavy
Right.
hitter solo. It is also heavy hitters precon and living legend. So they have several things they have to test for. And in addition to that, they are also in a fantastically beautiful country. They don't have time to sit and go through that and prep for a heavy hitter sealed calling at the end of the week.
Real drama. Not the real drama. The real drama, I think, has to do with one of the team members getting on and sending the entire list to everyone else on their team.
How many cards are in this set? There's like 200 and something.
Yes.
Somebody's going to take a picture of each card and send it to a group chat.
Yes.
Come on.
I guarantee it. I guarantee that. I actually guarantee, like the wolf pack and stuff, that most of them know the entire list already.
Well, I would assume so, but it'll happen regardless. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think it makes it any better. I understand that people might feel a little slighted that it is technically getting information ahead of time.
They could have just timed things a little better and there wouldn't have been any drama at all. I don't think it's a big deal personally.
I don't either.
But I know if Brody shows up to that calling and wins it, someone's going to go on Twitter and say, he had 5 more days on the cards than I did.
There's going to be people whining regardless.
Yeah. There's definitely going to be some whining. But
let's be real. Do we actually think that Brody with 5 extra days or 5 extra years isn't going to come to some of the same? I mean, let's be real here. Like, the dude lives and breathes flesh and blood. And so my counter to that is, if you're
Brody uses his time.
That's what I'm saying. If you're looking at these players, these are players, in my opinion, that are going to do this anyway. I don't care if you give them an hour, 2 hours, 2 weeks, 2 years, and it's their life. So
regardless, it's still a competitive advantage.
It may be a slight competitive advantage, but they don't have time to take advantage of it. Right before we started recording, I was looking at Twitter and I saw that Mara had posted about the drama, saying that she's been invited to this fantastic, beautiful event in a fantastic, beautiful country, and yet she checked Twitter to try to share some of these experiences with those of us that are not able to do it, and half of Twitter is whining and complaining, and it's spoiling her experience.
Yeah,
because of the possibility.
I was gonna say that's multifaceted. You don't have to be on Twitter. I mean, people are going to be there always in some facet to try and sully your experience if they're not a part of it. Some people, right? There are people who are going to be happy for you regardless. It's how it's going to happen. It doesn't matter.
I think it was just a small stumble by LSS. It was just a weird scheduling. If things were shifted by like a week, there wouldn't be any issues, right?
Personally, I don't think there was any issue at all. I think people just need to get over their jealousy, and if you're going to play the calling, go and play the calling and treat it like a sealed calling. It is what it is.
Let's get into the spoilers we do have though, because we have a ton of them. We do have a ton of spoilers. So many.
No matter what, the set's going to be great. I think everybody should enjoy it. It shouldn't hold all the bearings on this. Everybody's going to get a chance to look at the cards, and before it really, really matters.
Okay, just last thing, and I'll get off of this. To those players that are out there at that invitational, best of luck to all of you. Have fun, and I am extremely jealous myself. I hope next year I get the same opportunity.
Have a great time. Post about it on Twitter, because I seriously do have a great time. Post about it on
Twitter. Really. Drama's fun, and this is very harmless drama too. Nothing will come of it.
Enjoy the city, enjoy the time, really enjoy the cards, enjoy each other.
You guys earned it.
And thank you, LSS, as well, for just giving back in such various ways.
Thank you, LSS.
It really is awesome that, because companies don't have to care, and they don't have to. So it is kind of nice that this at least happened. So
yeah.
All right. So we got a whole series of one-handers. I think that was I think it's the first thing we got as far as like this spree of spoilers. Ball Breaker, Mini Meat Axe, High Riser, Hot Streak, and Parry Blade.
Oh, I forgot about those. Those came out like the day after we
Yeah,
recorded
the day
this.
after we recorded.
the-
So I think they're all pretty interesting. Ball Breaker is literally Romping Club, but one-handed. It swings for 3, and if you've discarded 6, gets +1. Mini Meat Axe is Meat Axe, but one-handed. Mini, okay. High Riser is I'm pretty sure High Riser is a Nothos, but one-handed.
All right.
Now the one
sort
that
of.
the one that's different is Hot Streak. Hot Streak costs 1 to attack. When this is defended by 1 or more attack action cards, Hot Streak's attacks get go again this turn. That seems really strong. Especially in limited. Really
Yeah.
strong. And then
Man.
we got a really weird one. We got Parry Blade. This gets +2 while defending
that's
a
cool.
weapon attack.
That thing looks great. I actually really like that.
And Blade Break.
Yeah, it has Blade Break, so you lose it once you block, but you can kind of like hang on to it till the very end. And then block
It's
with
like
it
a
at the end.
pseudo shield.
Can you dual wield hot streaks?
I don't see why not. They're not unique. Yeah, so 1 for 2s, and if you block with an attack action card, they get go again.
Yeah, they're also just warrior cards too. They are not like Olympia's specific type cards. So
Right, those
there's
two.
a lot of other warriors who are going to be able to abuse the go again far better than he might be able to.
Yeah,
Like Kasai, maybe.
Yeah, like Kasai or Dori, who gets to swing twice naturally, and you give it go again, or even Bolton on his combo. That go again sticks for the turn. By the way, that didn't just say this attack.
yes, the go again does stick for
That-
the turn.
That means every time Hot Streak swings, if it was blocked one time, it has unlimited go again. I could twinning that thing 3 times if I had him in my hand.
Ew.
Yes.
Granted, the damage would be like 2 every time, but I'm being like, for combos, there's going to be a lot of blood on those hands.
Yeah, I was thinking more of maybe
I see
for
what you did there.
what's the card? Lumina Ascension kind of stuff.
That too. That's what like. If the thing has go again, do you have to pay the copper for the go again? Guess you don't. You could probably dump it into something else. You know, you could.
Blood on her hands.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, the card is very. That card, Mark, I will have him in cold foil, ready to go. When everybody's like, "Oh, Hot Streak," because that to me seems really good.
I think Hot Streak is the most interesting. I like Ball Breaker too. I think a one-handed Romping Club seems pretty good, especially
2 for
since
4. That's a good value.
Yeah, especially since you have like all the wind-ups that lets you just discard a card kind of like on demand, and it all just kind of synergizes really well with KO, who's generating might tokens that get applied to the weapon. And then there's these non-attack actions that apply to a brute attack, not a brute attack action card. So you could just like Bone Breaker Bellow and swing a Ball Breaker for 9. Or actually 10 if you have a might token. So it's a 3-card 10. Seems pretty good, especially like in limited. 3-card 10s seem fine.
Yeah.
Parry Blade just enhances the fridge, which I kind of like. It's only for weapon
It
attacks.
only
but it's still
block
+2.
weapon attacks.
Well, Parry
Which
Blade.
most players have weapons, right? You have the
Yeah.
exception of wizards and rangers.
Illusionists.
Yeah.
Illusionists too.
Yeah, they don't hit with their weapon, and most of their things aren't considered weapon attacks. So it won't work against them, but it works against guardians, and I don't know if you'd block a Kadachi with it, but
If you're really desperate,
yeah.
it saves a card from your hand. Let's be real. I mean, if you were desperate, you'd do it. I'd do it.
I don't know. I'd probably just run a shield but
But then you're not swinging the whole rest of the game, which is the point. The point is Parry Blade is an offensive weapon being used the entire game until you're using it the one time as a defensive option. And so it's been swinging for 2, and then it blocks for 2 in a pivotal moment.
You know,
It doesn't come from your hand.
it can be T-boned. So
Does it count as equipment? Does
it
literally
is
say that?
it is an equipment. and it does have blade break, so even if it blocks for nothing, it would break.
Wow.
I think that case is so fringe it won't really matter. But
that is kind of funny though.
Yeah, it is notable. It can be T-boned. We also got a shield, another shield. I think this one maybe got spoiled today. Stonewall Impasse.
Oh yeah.
This is a 1 defense offhand guardian equipment. When this defense clash with the attacking hero, if you win, this gets +1 defense till end of the turn. That has temper. So specifically, if you win the clash, it goes up to 2 defense. It gets the -1 token, and it doesn't have 0 defense when the combat chain closes, so it doesn't break.
Right. Meaning you will then get to block with it again. Hope if you win the clash, it'll block for 1 and then ultimately break at the end of it. Right.
At first I thought this was like an easy like weapon to throw in a Victor deck. And then we saw the Victor specialization.
Oh, that shield. Well, we're going to get to that. That's
we can go ahead and talk about it since we're talking about Guardians right now. Victor's specialization shield is a giant gold token. It's literally a giant gold token. Victor specialization, Aurum Aegis. This counts as a gold. It has temper and it has 2 defense on it. So very friggy. It is legendary, but it just perfectly works with the rest of his package so far.
It really does. The fact that it counts as a gold for his effect to reclash off, so you block for 2, it's sitting there for another block for 1, or a gold token, or to reclash. It's so multifaceted. I love it. That's the 3 different layers.
You can technically cash it in.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh yeah. There is so much good depth and play. It's just such a great card. Like, perfect. And
I'm not sure what Victor would do with the cards from cash in, but you could technically cash in your shield.
I don't know, but shout out to Sloop Dupe for his spoiler video on this one.
Oh man,
it was absolutely hilarious.
It was good.
It was really so good. Yeah, go and watch it. If you're out there, go and watch it.
It was pretty good.
Little Betsy's pizza.
Little Betsy's.
That was so good.
Oh man.
Great job on that one, man.
I think we got a series of like weird ones that has check board states as well. We got Stand Ground.
Yes.
If you control a Might token, this gets +1 defense. If you control a Vigor token, this gets +1 defense, and it has temper. These seem weak.
They're limited. It's all limited to me.
It's limited stuff.
Yeah.
This is stuff where you're like, okay, in sealed, I've got a way to generate this and this. Okay. I get to set up my board state for next turn. Now my armor's blocking for 2. I cash it in on this turn while it's at its peak. That's an extra card I didn't have to give. Things like that. I think it's totally working toward the limited aspect. Building a board state and trying to operate around the type of board state you're building. Okay, I'm getting agility and might tokens. I'm going to do this next turn. Now my armor's doing this for me this turn. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Puts a lot of thought into it. So it's going to be a very intricate, limited format with a lot of depth, and it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a really good set.
We got a whole series of Blade Break ones. I think these were the Fabry.com spoilers.
I haven't seen the names of these.
Face Adversity set, like the confront.
The Adversity set. So the helmet's called Face Adversity, and I think this one's a joke because the helmet looks really bad, and so the adversity is you can't see through it. But it says this may only defend an attack if the attack's controller has drawn a card this turn.
Going to happen quite a lot. And
dude, look at I don't know if you looked at the art of this helmet, but I can't even tell where he's looking. It kind of looks like his head is on sideways. I really think the name of this thing is a joke. Like, it's got to be a joke. So there's a whole set of these 2-block blade break equipments that are conditional if the attack's controller has done something. So the chest piece is based on vigor, the arms are based on might, and the boots are based on agility. Again, these don't seem great. Probably Face Adversity is okay, but it's
more limited cards.
Limited
it's a draft set. There's got to be draft fodder.
And some of these seem like you may not be able to ever defend. Like, what if they just don't make a vigor token?
But they probably there will be all the clashes, the things. I'm gonna wager you and Mike. You know what I mean? Somebody out there is generating a vigor token. They're in the cards. Like, somebody's going to do it or attempt to do it.
Maybe.
it just again, it just makes it a multi-layered thing. You're creating your big board state, but you now have to go, oh no, I just gave his armor 2 block because I created a might token. That is the coolest thing that I think. I'm setting up my big turn. Oh, I just turned his armor on.
Dude.
I like that.
There's so much equipment in this set.
I was literally just thinking
we still
the same
have
thing.
more equipment. And
Yeah, there's a lot.
you know
of
how
equipment.
we're like some
It's
of
a
these
gladiator set.
some of these
you know?
like draft sets we're worried about like putting cracked baubles into our decks. Like I feel like there might be so much equipment that you get forced to draft it because it like kind of comes out down to the end that you're putting cracked baubles in your deck because you ended up with like 10 equipment pieces.
I think
I'm looking
this is
through
gonna
the,
make it. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think it's gonna make it interesting for sealed and in drafting format though, because I think some of the times you feel pigeonholed into not being able to select equipment, but you also feel like you need to select equipment because there's so few going around, and especially in like certain sets where the equipment actually matters. I mean, it's not a Monarch set, I think, where you're gonna have to get your ebb and fold or your hooves or whatever, but I like the fact that you get to go, oh, that's a solid piece of equipment, and there's plenty of equipment. I don't have to rush now to pick
Maybe-
that. I like the flexibility of it because I think one of the things you end your draft with, you go, I don't have any armor.
Maybe really a 16 card pack that always has one piece of equipment in it.
Oh, I guarantee there's going to be at least one piece of equipment in every pack. Because
Well, it
I'm
can't be
looking at the
15
spoilers
then.
today. Every single spoiler that was released today is a piece of equipment.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool.
Okay,
They're all
so
equipment.
if it's a 15 card pack and there's one piece of equipment in every single pack and you're drafting 3 packs, that's so much equipment in the pool. Like you're going to end up with cracked baubles.
Which is one,
Probably.
maybe not, but you're gonna get a nice full set of equipment that will have a playable
Maybe.
it will. The board state will allow it, or you need to allow the board state to allow it. Maybe you intentionally give your opponent that vigor token because you know it turns your armor on and you get to block now. And I like that. That allows me to think. I'm all about things like that.
We got
Okay.
a couple
Send it
other
to me.
commons. A really pretty art one was just Sheltered Cove.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an instant, has no defense on it, generic equipment head. Pay 3, destroy this. The next time you be dealt damage this turn, prevent 2 of that damage.
I mean, it's a 3 for 2, but it's prevention. It's at an instant speed, and sometimes your blues don't block for anything, or they block for 2. And so it's effectively the same thing, just at instant speed, which gets around overpower, mind you, and that's going to be big in this set as well.
Then
Yeah.
Glory Seeker
And
is
intimidating.
just this, but probably better because Glory Seeker is a generic head equipment that says pay 3, destroy the straw card. So you could just turn your blue non-block into a block 3 instead. Prevent 3 damage.
That was actually interesting.
Both of those are, I think, limited because of Reinhardt's ability to intimidate, and you need a way to chain to his intimidate and still have a an ability. So that prevent 2, you can you
That's
don't
true.
banish my
That's
card.
true.
I can see that.
Your
I'm
last
gonna
card
prevent the
in
2.
hand, he tries to
Absolutely.
intimidate away. You throw it into your equipment.
Right.
To prevent 2. That doesn't save you for Glory Seeker though. It resolves. You draw the
Yeah, I was
card.
gonna say I
and then
think
gets
Glory Seeker you
intimidated.
technically resolve and then it gets
But
intimidated.
Sheltered
via,
Cove, yes,
unfortunately.
is very good against intimidate.
Remember that, because I'm serious, it'll
man.
save you.
The name of this one is just a trip. Vigor Girth.
Oh man.
There-
right.
My inner 12-year-old is giggling.
It's a Guardian
And-
Warrior
and my
equipment.
37-year-old.
It's chess piece. It's very anime. He's got lots of belts on. Destroy
He's
this,
got
create
lots.
a Vigor token, go again, blade break 1. I think this is fine. This is actually
What-
like straight up good.
What is that synergize with? That piece of armor that says, "Do I have a vigor token?" Whoa, it's all coming together
no,
now.
that's your opponent has to have
No,
it.
I thought there's one that literally says if you control a vigor token and a might token, that it blocks for +1 and then +2 if you control both. There's
Yes.
a boots.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the set's got depth, baby. It's going to be good. Armor is going to matter in this set. It's going to make or break games.
I think
Heavy.
Vigor Girth is
I
a
can see that.
solid limited chess piece. It's fine. What else was there? Beck and Applause.
We're
That-
still looking at comments.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
that's
still
if
doing
you
all.
can-
Yeah,
Beck and Applause is the hand pieces that warrior equipment that counts if you have agility and vigor. Give you +2 and it has the temper 2. I think there's one more we maybe missed. stand ground, beckon applause. I thought there was one more. Maybe not. Okay. There's a lot. It's easy to miss.
There's Gauntlet of
something.
Might. Did we look at Gauntlet of Might, which
Not,
is another
we haven't
common?
done Gauntlet of Might yet. So Gauntlet of Might is
Okay.
another common. Yep. So this is the one that you could break for a Might token.
Yeah, just action, destroy this, create a Might token, go again, blade break 1. It's a brute guardian equipment.
I don't know
Hybrid
what
equipment.
I don't know what I think about that one.
Eh.
I
I mean,
feel
you're
like
getting one value out of it either way.
I was gonna say at worst it's blocking for 1, which you're gonna need some block in this set from your equipment.
No,
you're gonna
the block 1 is fine. I feel like it almost doesn't have text on it. Like, because you break it to make a Might token to give something +1 next turn. Unless you're doing something that wants to have +1. And the last time I checked, Bolton isn't in this set. So, who
Break
really
points.
cares about buffs?
Just break
Maybe
points.
it's a tempo thing.
But you gotta know
Like-
that you need to apply the breakpoint next turn with the hand that you don't know you have yet. Unless you're pitch
Again,
stacking or something.
I mean, it sets the armor up, and I think you just take the +1 whenever you're gonna throw it at. I mean, you're gonna throw an attack out regardless. It's just gonna have +1 on it. I think it's just ways to edge out games to just create different math. It can't be too great, and it's 1 point of value either way. You're giving the attack +1, or you're blocking for 1, and I think in both ways you're happy regardless.
Okay. So I guess let's get to the rare and legendary stuff that's been revealed today.
Yeah, because some of those rares are
What
absolutely.
Do you
just
think
nasty.
of Grains of Blood Spill, Noah?
I think it's the perfect chess piece for Kasai. I think it actually makes sense because I was thinking, how do you deal with Courage of Bladehold? Because you don't need any resource.
Just to
Resources.
say it for people listening, this is a Temper 2 warrior equipment chess piece that says whenever a weapon attack you control hits, you may pay 1. If you do, create a vigor token.
This is something that I think Kasai is going to be able to use very well, especially when we talk about, well, how's she going to afford to pay for all those Raise the Armies? Well, she's going to get a free Raise the Army swing off of this if she activates it twice. So this is a setup. It gives
It's
you
like
the ability.
Seismic Surge for warriors.
Right. And
But you can activate
warriors,
it multiple times.
Yeah, you every time, like if you hit with 2 weapons and you have 2 floating resources, you can kind of pass those 2 resources, and then when you don't draw your blue next turn,
Ooh.
you have 2 resources that crack.
it's an epoch.
If you
It's a
do draw
built-in
your
epoch to
blue
that
and manage
chest.
to hit with your weapons again, you get to keep passing those vigor tokens along. So that's why
Yeah,
it's like Seismic Surge, right?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing chess piece, and it complements the way Kasai wants to play very well. And I actually don't even think it would. Well, I mean, probably not that good in combo Bolton because you're not getting it till the next turn. So you
Nah,
have to know
you-
you were. This
Combo
is
Bolton runs
specifically
Courage.
This is. I mean, look at the art too. This is specifically for Kasai. I mean, this was
Oh, yeah.
made for her. They knew Courage of Bladehold would not be the ideal chest for that type of a warrior, which they're 100%
I can even
correct.
see Dory running it, right? Because it like allows her to kind of build up momentum, and she could just keep the momentum going and cash in the
So,
vigors whenever she needs to.
There are times when you have excess of resources that you're not actually using as Dory, or like you have them there for your opponent to do something and they don't want to do anything. So you might be able to go, okay, well, if I'm not going to get reprised anyway, I'm going to arsenal this card. I might as well get the 2 vigor tokens or get my free vigor token for my Dawnblade hitting or hitting twice or whatever, and pass it to the next turn and set up some 5-card turn where, oh, now my red overpower is totally playable because I have an extra 2 free resources.
And I know you cracking 2 free resources at the beginning of your turn, so you could like do a go again effect and then throw Dawnblade without revealing the other cards in your hand.
Oh, it's naughty.
Yeah.
It's
That
absolutely naughty.
it gives me the heebie-jeebies even thinking about
One
you
of-
just having a 3-card hand and already having +3 and go again attached to
Let-
your weapon.
Like one of the best things I love to do as a Dory player is literally sit with a 5-card hand and do nothing but even remove the counter from Tunic and just swing Dawnblade, a naked Dawnblade with 6 cards or whatever, 5, because the possibilities are endless. And then I don't have to do any of the thinking. My opponent has to, and they just play and I react to it. So it's really great. I enjoy it. But that's what it does. It effectively sets turns like that up where I get to go, okay, reveal absolutely nothing, and I also have an extra resource that you probably didn't account for. What do you think I have?
All right.
And that extra resource matters because that's a difference of going singing into singing into singing potentially. Because I can fish singing 3 times with singing if I wanted to, and then I can get those numbers up higher. So it really does. It really extends the ability to play warrior. It gives you extra cards that aren't necessarily there, and it's a way to set up, which is what Dory wants to do anyway. In warriors, they kind of want to snowball, so they kind of want to hit you on a turn and then have that really reverberate to the next turn and see, it's starting. It just compounds. You want that compounding feeling.
The only thing I'm worried about
chess piece
is it's like a little bit win more, right? If you're hitting, you're probably already winning anyway.
It is, but Warrior plays off of a win more play style, in my opinion. And then I think there's some games where they kind of just have to crawl back. But usually, as a Warrior, especially Dory, especially Dawnblade, you're winning in 7 to 8 turns is your magic number. You are playing to win. You're not playing 15, 16, 17, 18 turns usually, unless you're against, like, that's not where the high win rate comes in. At least for myself, I don't know, but I'm an overly aggressive player, so I think it technically values that.
So
I think it's a great card.
We got a lot of root
overall
stuff today too.
Solid.
Yep.
We got a specialization for both heroes. First, we got the Monstrous Veil, which is a Rhinar specialization. It's a battle-worn 1 headpiece, and it has an action that says destroy this, draw a card, then discard a card at random, go again. So this is just Skullhorn, but with 1 block on it. Which I think I've actually been quoted saying, man, I wish Skullhorn just had 1 block on it.
Yeah, I was going to ask what you were going to think of in versus...
if Scowling Fleshbag didn't exist, this card would be just great. It fixes hands, it intimidates. Now this is just an absolute bomb if you get it in draft. My God, is this a bomb in draft? Like, if you're playing Rhinar and you get this, your Rhinar deck is pretty good because this is Intimidate on a stick.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Skullhorns was Intimidate on a stick, which just gave you an extra card rip. It also plays into, and depending upon, I guess, how offensive you want to be, the whole, which card is it? The Show No Mercy, if it has no cards in hand. So that gives you the ability, hey, you have 1 card left. Okay,
yeah,
activate this, draw this card, things gone, Show No Mercy.
Fleshbag is a defensive piece. This is an aggressive piece.
Yeah, this is the offensive
you get your 1 block
and
and then you bust it. Yep.
Solid. I actually wouldn't even be surprised if you see it in CC in certain matchups. I think it is a fantastic headpiece.
The KO specialization is called Knucklehead. And
I love it.
This one's kind of wild because it's a rare that is Temper 2. It is a rare wild. Temper 2, which is already wild. Now, the action effect of it is even crazier. Action, destroy this. Roll a 6-sided die until the end of the turn. Your base intellect is the number rolled.
This is super high roll BS. I love it. He's gambling anyway. You might as well go for it. I love it.
It could be good.
5 or 6.
It could be good.
3 of your numbers, you feel good. 3 of the numbers, you feel bad. Then you gamblers loves them.
No. 2 of the numbers, you feel good. 1 of the numbers you feel okay, and the other 3,
2 of the numbers you feel good. 1 of the numbers you think, I could have blocked 1 more point of value here. And then the other 3 numbers, you're just like, I just threw the game. Just threw the game away. I don't know what. I think this is just block 3. I can't imagine a situation where you would use the action.
I'd roll the hell out of it. Quote me on it. I will roll it. Unless
you just need Skull Crushers. You need to hit that 5 or 6 to get +1. Might as well get 2 more cards for next turn. Yeah, I don't know.
If he hits it, good luck. Good luck next turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now the card that I've been really hyped to talk about. This card, it's the legendary. Mansant got to reveal it. He kind of hinted on his Discord that there would be a reason to not run Gambler's Gloves, and boy, howdy, does this fit the bill. It's called Apex Bonebreaker. It's a Temper 2 gloves. Brute gloves. Brute gloves.
Mm-hmm. They finally
when this
exist.
defends together with a card with 6 or more, create a might token. And it's temper, so you get to defend twice. This thing generates 2 might tokens and blocks for 3. There's 5 points of value pretty much guaranteed on these gloves. These gloves are bonkers.
100% auto include every brute deck.
Dude,
100%.
Gambler's Gloves is pretty good.
Scowling Flesh Bag. Let's say Scowling Flesh Bag with okay use, automatically 5 points of value on that turn, right? Because you block 2, you banish a card from their hand, a card's on average value 3. Block 5 on Scowling Flesh Bag, 5 points of value on Apex Bonebreaker, 6 points of value on Husk. So we're already at 16. Levia, and then 3 points of value on Scabs if you never roll. So Levia's on 19 points of value from her equipment without rolling dice.
Best fridge, I think fridge in the game now, hands down at that point, right? 6-2 from that, 3, 11, 14 block. 14 block.
14 block and 2 might tokens.
Oh, man, that is a lot of armor. Really needed though, and I actually really like the way they did it. I also like that it's a might token, not an agility or a vigor, which would have been borderline busted had it been either one of those 2 keywords, in my opinion.
This one's going to look great in cold foil extended art as well.
Man, I can't wait to get the chess piece grains. I can already imagine what the EA looks like, and I want it.
Okay,
I'm excited.
I think our last spoiler is the new prize card.
It's beautiful. Even the art's beautiful. Balance of Justice. It's next to Wage Vigor in between Glory Seeker. Oh,
there was another one that was dropped while we were recording. Hood of the Red Sand. Yeah, Hood of the Red Sand. It's a Kasai specialization. Battle 1/1.
What?
Attack reaction. Pay 1. Banish a red and a yellow card from your graveyard. Destroy this. Target sword attack gets. When this hits, draw a card.
Wait, what? Where? Purple Discord?
Yeah, Purple Discord.
Oh yeah, Hood of Red. Oh shoot. Okay. Attack reaction. I'm like, this is like real time. Like I've just.
What's the defense on it?
Battle worn.
Battle worn 1. Attack reaction. Banish a red and a yellow. And then
banish a red and a yellow from your graveyard. Destroy this.
This is for limited. I think to be in line with the other rare armor pieces that they introduced for like a limited feel. I think this gives her a way to draw cards in that limited fashion to turn on her weapon because she's not going to have access to things like Gregorian Tome. And unless they're reprinting Cash In, which everybody actually is speculating, and you guys might be right.
I think they should.
Come on, man! I picked up a whole, but
I want like some cool art.
I'm joking. I did not pick up that many cash-ins. I was actually talked out of it. I was like, you're probably right. If I made an entire set of gold, I'd reprint cash-in. I'm ahead of you, LSS.
It just fits. It just fits too well.
You won't catch me with 96 copies of cash-in. Other cards, yes.
Like Kasai wants to draw cards.
Yeah,
you got all the gold. Like.
It makes sense. It really does. But that to me is another way of saying, hey, we know your card pool is going to be limited in the sealed on how you're going to get that draw card to make your swords free effect. I really like that. And it blocks 1, battle worn, good effect. And it's an attack reaction too. We love attack reactions in the warrior community. What we live off of.
So,
that was the last one before the balance.
In previous episodes, we've talked about what is the middle ground between battle worn and temper. Like, what does that even mean?
What does it look like?
So Balance of Justice, we were all talking about could be boots, could be gloves. Not surprised that actually did turn out to be a headpiece. It's a generic headpiece that's going to replace Crown of Providence as the prize card. It is a 2-block Guardwell piece of equipment. Guardwell says when the combat chain closes, if this defended, put -1 counters on it equal to its defense. So that's the in-between, right? It
drops it.
It's battle worn 2, but you only get to block for 2, not 2, then 1. That's the in-between. Makes sense.
I like it.
And then as an instant, you could destroy this, draw a card, activate this ability only if an opponent has drawn 2 or more cards this turn. This is what I'm a little disappointed about. Like I said, I went through that range of emotions of disappointed. Oh, nothing could be as good as Crown. And then I saw the Brute gloves, and I'm just like, yeah, they don't mind printing cards that are really nuts. This at least targets Brute. They got an insane handpiece, and this headpiece is good against Brute because it's good against Blood Rush Bellow, and it's good against Art of War.
I was going to say, I think a lot of cards in the meta, including now that they're increasing a bunch of gold generation, I think card draw now is a little more prolific. But what I like about this
hold on, legendaries are not part of draft unless they change the rules again.
No,
Yes.
No, yeah. I'm
So
talking, this is for CC.
Yes,
Still,
we only consider this for like its CC implications. And is this worth a deck slot?
In certain situations, I think it's actually a little bit better than Crown. I know that's going to sound absolutely crazy, but I get to block with that for 2. It gets to sit on the board until I want to use it on a turn where I get to say, oh, you gain cards. Well, now I'm going to gain 1 more card. It's not like I'm bouncing the card from my arsenal with Crown for my 2 block and getting a 5-card hand. I'm able to now block for 2.
It's good and a bad thing, though, right? You get an extra card, but you don't get to clean your arsenal now.
But maybe you don't want to clean your arsenal.
Well,
This is a very good anti-Fi card. Like on Fi's Art of War turn, you want to have blocked with this already and then get an extra card to block on the Art of War turn.
Especially if you're aggroing.
This thing's worth 5 points.
Especially if you're aggroing against Fi, because you could actually just, instead of trying to block out his Art of War turn, you just use the Balance of Justice to stop him from drawing a card with Mask of Momentum. Draw yourself an extra card and just punch him in the face back harder next turn with your extra card.
That's why I think it's so multifaceted. If the turn's going really wide for them and your response is, okay, that's a Blood Rush Bellows, I'm going to pop this. Now I've got a 6-card hand potentially if my arsenal's still there. What if I look at all 6 of those cards and I say, oh, he's dead if I don't lose? You know, like I really do like the way it speaks. Or you get to play defensive with that card that you drew. Either way, I think it actually is a very good headpiece.
We're comparing it to Crown of Providence, right? So when you use Crown of Providence in a deck that has all block 3s, that allows you to block 17 in a turn, right? You block 12 with your hand, you block 2 with the Crown, and then you block 3 with the card that you drew off of Crown.
You can't do
by
that.
Dumping out your arsenal. So you can
wouldn't be able to reblock again.
More than one attack.
More than one attack.
Yeah,
okay,
more than
sure.
one
Not
attack.
the same. Not this. Yes. Okay.
If you need,
yes.
If you needed to block 17 in a single attack, it was probably Azalea on a really lucky turn. And
it was dominated anyway.
And it was dominated anyway.
Although I've seen 16 red in the ledgers, no dominate. They're nasty.
Now, Balance of Justice is the same thing. The biggest difference about Balance of Justice is you get to keep your arsenal. But it's very conditional and doesn't work against all heroes. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know. This doesn't
lose the card. But you don't. So Crown comes out for that too. You don't lose the card in
Crown either. You get to like.
No,
you get to like pitch
Crown's
stack.
gone. Crown's. So I used my Crown. I got my 2 block. I moved my arsenal card to my hand, and now my Crown's gone.
That's true. You do get to disconnect the 2 effects.
And I blocked for 2. That's step 1. Now I've got this really key piece that's either offensive to close it out or defensive when they're going too wide against me. It's much more, I think, multifaceted than Crown. Crown is a very one-time thing. Hey, my one time, I'm cashing it in. This is, I'm going to cash in the block. I'm going to wait for the perfect time on that effect. I like it.
Yeah, you can literally cash the defense value in at any time, and then just have it sitting on the board ready to protect you on the go wide turn.
Right, but there's several heroes.
That's pretty good.
Good.
But I agree. I think this is a sideboard card. And it's weird that they are turning
it's definitely a
calling championship card. The calling champion card is going to be a gold foil sideboard card. That definitely feels weird.
But you can't play this against Azalea. Like, it's just strictly worse than Crown of Providence.
Yeah, in certain matchups it is, but I think Crown's strictly worse than this card against Art of War matchups.
I mean, it's also good against Dromai, right? Because of Tome. So it does have some hits in other decks.
Yeah,
but I still don't think it's going to be as ubiquitous as Crown.
I get to draw,
It's okay. It's okay versus Dash.io. It's good versus Fi. It's pretty good versus Katsu. Not all Katsus run Art of War, but a lot of times they run Ancestral and they proc Mask. Right, so that's 2 cards.
Yeah.
It's really good against Brutes, which is why it kind of fits in this set. Because it's good against Blood Rush Bellow. It's good against Art of War. It's good against if they go cheetah mode and play 2 pulpings in a turn, and this is technically on. Who else is it good against? I guess it's good against Runeblade. Runeblades like to draw cards, but
cash in,
not Vincent. So Vincent doesn't really draw cards.
But we do have a whole lot of heavy hitters left to spoil as well. So there may be other things for the classes heavy hitters that we don't know.
We want our prize card, the card that embodies what winning competitive Flesh and Blood would be, to feel evergreen. And this one just doesn't feel as evergreen as Crown of Providence.
But
does.
Crown, I don't think anything's ever going to feel as good as Crown.
True.
And I again,
no,
really like,
not as good as evergreen. Crown fits everything. The only time you don't run Crown is when you have something busted like Mask of Momentum or Mask of the Pouncing Links. Or
New Horizons, or you're running Royal, and people run Royal as well.
Yeah, those are 4 very certain game plans, and you actually give up a lot by not having Crown of Providence.
I know, but Crown then gets relegated to a sideboard. I actually think that this will compete with Crown. I think it looks worse off the rip, but I really think it's better. I think the multi-stage, the effect is what
Crown.
gives it I like
right now it is not better than Crown.
I like it. I'm going to be on
maybe
Team
with some
Balance
busted generics coming.
Not to mention the art is
the disconnect
fantastic.
of the 2 abilities is neat. I think it's cool that
that's cool.
You could choose to use the 2 different modes. But
I even like that it only blocks once for 2 and it goes down to 0, because I don't actually think I'd want to have to think about blocking with that card twice before being able to cash in its effect. I like that I'm able to give the defense away, block my breakpoint, feel good about it, then use my effect later. I like it, because sometimes you're always worried about getting the most value out of the helmet, and so if you're sitting there on that,
But I
like it.
If you run this and you're trying to make your deck optimal, this has to take up a sideboard slot.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't cover all matchups at all, because sometimes it's just a block 2. If you're going to choose a block 2, you choose Crown of Providence.
If you're, I agree. I think if you're solely choosing for the block 2 and the ability to just bounce the card to make whatever, a 5-card hand, a wider hand, a better hand, whatever the case may be,
to be
Crown
fair,
is probably going to be. But I think this card definitely has.
This can give you a 6-card hand, because you get to keep your arsenal. So there are some really fun potentials to aggro the crap out of people.
That's what I'm saying.
You're only going to get a 6-card hand if your opponent has drawn 2 cards.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You're going to be blocking if your opponent's drawing extra cards on.
Or maybe you don't, and you say, hit me with, show me what you got. Dude, there's so many times when Fi goes in, he plays his Ardor, I'm like, I ain't blocking. Show me what you got. You draw your card off Mask of Momentum. Come on, you better kill me. I'm coming back.
I would look at those Lexis that 3 of a kind me, and I would say congratulations. I'd let them play out, and then I'd play my turn, and I'd hit them for 23. You just gotta hit it back.
I'm thinking it's either a Brute or a Dio, and Brute, that's the turn that I'm throwing my Scowling Flesh bag in front of it anyway. Or I can't block because I'm Dio anyway, so it's whatever.
I do like the card. I don't think it could ever come out and be as crazy or as multifaceted as Crown. I think if you said, hey, we're going to try and build something as close to it with I think it's there, and I think the design actually gets better as it goes on when more heroes want to draw cards, because I think drawing cards is always going to be, especially on those turns. For the defensive part of it, I like it. It's a good reaction.
It's fine.
It messes with the math.
I just wanted it to be more evergreen, and I wanted it to be more versatile.
I get it.
Since it's kind of replacing Crown of Providence.
I can understand that.
Only at the champion prize level. It's not going to replace Crown at the armory level. That's
Well, you see it. I'll start personally. I'll just set my Crown aside. I'll be Balance of Justice all day long just to show you.
Okay, sure. Prove it.
I will. It looks
money where your mouth is.
It looks almost like Dory sitting in that chair. As far as if I look at that picture from way back there, I'd be like, is that Dory? So I'm good with it. The art style, everything. Plus, that's the Pro Tour mat for LA.
Oh yeah,
that art, and it looks stunning. By the way,
good art.
I will be getting me one of those.
I wonder who that character is. If she's someone significant.
I don't know, but I want to.
I was gonna say that looks like another hero to add
She
to
looks
the
like a
list.
Valkyrie.
It does look like a Valkyrie.
It does.
Okay.
Man, I'm hoping I open the brute gloves though. If I have to like pick a legendary, I want those brute gloves.
I know what you mean. I want the chest piece badly, so I can have it for Kasai.
All right. We got anything else, guys? We've run a little bit long this week.
Oh, there's so much good stuff. It was
There's
fun.
so much to talk about.
Cool stuff to talk about.
And
We're
it's
gonna
only
have
gonna
so
get
much
better.
more to talk about next week.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
It'll be good. We'll talk about will the Queenstown have been next week, or no? Will that be the following?
Yep, Celebrational this week, along with the rest of spoiler season, and then calling Queenstown over the weekend
with the first real tournament where everybody's got hands on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then next week is pre-release. So we've got, man, there's so much happening already. We are off to the races.
Yeah, which don't forget to sign up for your pre-releases, everybody.
I will. I'll do it. I'm going to do it after this. I'll sign up for the 2 that I know we're going to, and then we'll figure out what we're going to go to on Sunday. But I'll sign up for the two level up ones.
Okay. Thomas, where can everybody find you?
You could find me at Wet the System Fab on Twitter, and if you see Wet the System anywhere on the internet, it's probably me.
Yeah, basically the same story with me, except Draco Hominis 87 on just about all the social medias. You can look me up as Donnie K on fabric.gg, where I write several different article series. The last one to come out was Professor Techlo Daddy, UPF Brew. The next one is going to be my review of Calling Queenstown, which is going to be a little bit different since it's a limited calling, and I haven't really done a lot of limited reviews as far as like tournaments go. So it's going to be something different for me to write. So that's going to be kind of cool. But yeah, Draco Hominis 87 on Twitter and Discord. Hit me up. I'm not shy.
Make sure you probe in that article how those extra hours help to win that event.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can start asking them. Asking them how much extra time. Really grilling for the hardcore questions. I'm joking. We all know that Wonder Boy kid could win it with no, I think, prior look at the cards. I don't mind it at all. Either way, I am at Big Max Fab on Twitter, Big Max on Discord. You can find me at twitch.tv/LutsoHeavy. It'll be back to Big Max in March when the name becomes available. So it's all coming together. Until then, thank you for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed catching up with us this week. And if you did, subscribe or follow, depending on where you found us, to catch us again. Until then, take care of yourself. And remember, we are all siblings in cardboard.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, Patreons. And discard your cards. Do it. Take them. Discard them. You got pummeled.